The year I stopped paying for Christmas, everyone in my neighborhood thought I had finally given up. They saw the empty porch, the missing decorations, the dark windows, and the silence that settled over my little house every December evening. They whispered that grief had finally defeated me after my wife passed away. What they didn't know was that every single day, at exactly 6 o'clock, something happened that no amount of money could ever buy, and before Christmas morning arrived, an entire town would discover that the greatest gift is never found inside a shopping bag. My name is Michael Carter, and I lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. After losing my wife, Rachel, to a sudden illness 2 years earlier, every holiday felt heavier than the last. I was raising our 10-year-old son, Noah, while working double shifts as a maintenance technician. Bills piled higher than my hopes. The furnace barely worked, my truck struggled to start each morning, and my savings account looked emptier every week. By early December, I realized there was simply no money left for expensive presents, colorful lights, or a grand Christmas dinner. For the first time in my life, I decided I would stop trying to compete with everyone else's version of Christmas. Instead of spending money I didn't have, I remembered something Rachel used to treasure more than anything. Every evening, no matter how busy life became, our family always sat together at exactly 6 o'clock. Phones disappeared. Television stayed off. We shared dinner, stories, prayers, laughter, and whatever little food we had. Rachel always believed that 6 o'clock wasn't just a time, it was where families found each other again. After she was gone, that tradition slowly disappeared because work and exhaustion consumed everything. This year, I decided to bring it back. Every evening at 6, Noah and I sat at our small kitchen table. Some nights we ate homemade soup. Other nights it was peanut butter sandwiches or simple pasta. We lit one small candle, shared one thankful memory about Rachel, and talked about our day. We laughed at old family photographs, wrote encouraging Christmas cards to lonely neighbors, baked inexpensive cookies for elderly residents, and spent hours making handmade ornaments from recycled paper instead of buying expensive decorations. The house still looked plain from outside, but inside it slowly became warmer than it had been in years. Our neighbors noticed something unusual. While everyone rushed through crowded stores, our home remained peaceful. Children delivering newspapers often stopped because Noah always offered them hot chocolate. An elderly widow named Margaret began joining us once a week because she had nowhere else to spend her evenings. A retired firefighter named Thomas started bringing homemade bread every Friday. Without planning it, 6 o'clock became more than our family tradition. It became a place where lonely hearts quietly gathered. Word spread throughout the neighborhood. Families who had barely spoken to each other for years started arriving with simple homemade meals instead of expensive gifts. Teenagers put away their phones and listened to stories from older neighbors. Parents discovered conversations they hadn't realized they were missing. Children laughed over board games instead of expensive electronics. Every evening, exactly at 6, another chair had to be added around the growing table. Christmas Eve arrived with snow gently covering the streets. Our house still had no expensive lights or towering tree. Yet the dining room overflowed with people carrying casseroles, bread, cookies, handwritten cards, and grateful hearts. Someone quietly placed a modest evergreen in the corner. Another family brought handmade ornaments. A local choir surprised everyone by singing Christmas hymns on our front porch. Tears filled my eyes because I realized that every gift surrounding us had been created by kindness instead of credit cards. As midnight approached, Margaret stood and thanked everyone for reminding her that she wasn't forgotten. Thomas admitted it was the happiest Christmas he had experienced since retiring. Noah smiled brighter than I had seen since losing his mother. In that unforgettable moment, I finally understood what Rachel had always tried to teach us. Christmas was never measured by the size of the presents beneath the tree. It was measured by the number of hearts gathered around the table. The following year, our neighborhood officially created what everyone proudly called the 6 o'clock Christmas tradition. Every family agreed to stop chasing perfect decorations for 1 hour every evening during December. At 6 o'clock, everyone simply gathered with loved ones, neighbors, or anyone who needed a place to belong. The tradition spread beyond our street into nearby communities, proving that generosity multiplies when people give their time instead of their wallets. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that love is life's greatest gift, please support this video by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Your support helps us continue sharing meaningful stories that inspire kindness and hope. Before we reach the end, please leave a comment and tell us, what is one Christmas tradition your family treasures the most? Looking back now, I never stopped paying for Christmas. I simply stopped paying with money. I started paying with time, compassion, forgiveness, and presence. Those were the gifts my wife had always wanted us to give, and they became the only presents that lasted long after the wrapping paper disappeared. Every year, when the clock reaches 6 o'clock, I smile knowing that somewhere, another family may be discovering what we found, that the richest Christmas is the one where no one feels alone.